Welcome to all the students. Today we will discuss about 20th century English literature. Basically, we will discuss about 20th century English novels and novelists. 20th century English literature, it is also known as multi-dimensional and versatile literature. It is also known as one of the difficult and complex literature as well. There are so many varieties of themes and motifs in 20th century English literature. There was the rise of science and technology because of the extreme development of modern science and technology oppressed in the so-called modern society. In the same way, different other themes like Marxism, psychoanalysis, in the same way existentialism, these themes are also foregrounded in 20th century English literature. While talking about 20th century English novels and novelists, there are some great writers that we must remember. Number one, Rudyard Kipling. Rudyard Kipling is one of the great novelists of 20th century English literature. Rudyard Kipling was brought up in India. He spent most of his life in India during the colonial period, and he wrote different stories like The Jungle Book, one of the popular story novel written by Rudyard Kipling. The Jungle Book, a story about Mowgli, a boy who was brought up by the patch of wolves. In the same way, another popular story written by Rudyard Kipling is known as Kim. It is one of the interesting story by Rudyard Kipling. Number two, we shouldn't forget the name of Ian Foster, another great novelist of 20th century English literature. He is basically remembered for his story, A Passage to India. In the same way, Howard's End. Two stories are there by Ian Foster. He had written so many other stories as well. In the same way, another great novelist of 20th century English literature, D.H. Lawrence. We shouldn't forget the name of D.H. Lawrence. He is the greatest novelist of English literature. Basically 20th century English literature. D.H. Lawrence is popular for his family novels. He has written different stories regarding the family themes. His popular story, one of the popular story by D.H. Lawrence is The Sons and Lovers. It is a story about a teenage boy named Paul. In the same way, The Rainbow, another story by D.H. Lawrence is The Rainbow. So many other stories are there written by D.H. Lawrence. Similarly, H.G. Wells, another novelist of 20th century English literature. H.G. Wells, in the same way, George Orwell. H.G. Wells and George Orwell, they wrote different science fiction. They have written their stories about modern science and technology in the 20th century English literature. So some female novelists were also there like Virginia Woolf one of the great female novelists of the time, Virginia Woolf, Margaret Draggle. So similarly, there were other contemporary writers who followed feminist writing, feminist themes in novel. So we shouldn't forget the greatest novelist of 20th century English literature, James Joyce. James Joyce, he was from Ireland. He wrote a story, a novel, Ulysses. Portrait of Artist is a young man. Portrait of an Artist is a young man. It is another popular novel written by James Joyce. James Joyce is still remembered for his new technique of writing stories in English literature. It is known as stream of consciousness technique. It is also known as interior monologue. In this story, the writer enters into the mind of the narrator and he writes what the particular character felt, what he experienced. So writing in such a style, it is known as stream of consciousness technique. The writer doesn't follow different grammatical punctuation and different rules. The story is written in a single sentence. So Virginia Woolf also followed stream of consciousness technique in English literature. So this way, we should remember some great novelists of 20th century English literature. All the students, you should remember some great novelists of 20th century English literature. Number 1, Rudyard Kipling. Number 2, Ian Foster. Number 3 is we should remember number 3, D.S. Lawrence. Number 4, H.G. Wells, George Orwell. In the same way, Virginia Woolf, James Joyce, Margaret Draggle. So this way, we should remember the great novelist of 20th century English literature. Thank you all.